Let's go! We have a brand new Scream movie in theaters, and I am so excited for it. So now I think it's time that we go ahead and we look at the entire franchise, top to bottom, and decide what is the best Scream property and what is the worst. Starting with... I wanted to like this movie. More than that, I wanted to love this movie. Sure, I wanted Melissa Barrera to come back. I wanted the continuation of the Carpenter sisters, and I wanted that conclusion. But when I knew that wasn't going to happen, I said, back the truck up to Neve Campbell's house, give her the biggest apology you can, and bring Sidney back. And then, hey, Kevin Williamson is going to direct this. He's directed a movie before. Above all things, Scream is a murder mystery, and Scream 7 is not a good mystery. It's not a good mystery. The meta commentary that makes this series what it is missing, and you're ultimately just left with another slasher. Now, don't get me wrong, I like slashers, but this is missing something. It's missing a spark, and instead of a bad Scream movie, we get something worse. We get a bad slasher movie. When the Scream TV series was announced, I said, no, that's a terrible idea. And then it was announced that MTV was doing it, and I said, dear God, no. There's no way they can pull this off on basic cable. And you'll find out later how I feel about the first 2 seasons in the Halloween special. Right now, we gotta discuss Scream Resurrection. It was decided to reboot the series, even though the last season left us on a cliffhanger, and we get entirely new characters. This time we have the Ghostface costume, and we have Roger L. Jackson back. But the series never comes together for its story. You're left going, well, it would make more sense if this person was the killer than who it actually is. And ultimately, it just fails, and the series ends on a whimper rather than something worth revisiting multiple times. Now, don't get me wrong, I've revisited the TV series a number of times. I revisited season 3, and I don't hate it, but I don't like it either. Look, I know I'm losing all credibility with this, but the first 2 things on this list are bad. From here on out, we have lesser versions of Scream. And on my last rewatch, I really don't like Scream 4. Hear me out. Hear me out. Scream 4 is fine. I love the motivation of the killer. I love it. However, it ends up becoming one of those things that I like the idea of the movie more than I like the movie itself. Its commentary on remakes is fine, but it never really seems to gel 100%. And after hearing how troubled the production was, all of that makes sense. It's surprising that anything coherent came out of this. Wes Craven went days without sleeping. He would shoot for 12 to 16-hour days and then immediately go in and just start writing the next day's scenes, because that's how fast they were shooting this and how troubled this was. All in all, it doesn't fully work. Roger L. Jackson gives a good performance as the voice, however, he is stuck in full scary mode. And some of the lines bugged me a bit until I started realizing that it's an insecure high school student who's trying too hard to sound tough. The problem is, you're left with Roger L. Jackson delivering these lines, trying to sound too tough, and it just never fully works. I feel like I owe this movie an apology. When I sat down to do my last rewatch, I got to the point where I was ready to start the movie, and I texted my friend and I said, pray for me. I'm getting ready to start Scream 6. I don't know if I can do this. I hate this movie. And on this last rewatch, didn't hate it. I don't love it. It's still not a movie that I love. But a lot of things that bugged me in the past didn't bother me so much this time around. There's still things that I'm like, that's a missed opportunity. When I saw this opening night, I got so excited in the opening scene when the killer's mask came off. And I'm sitting there mind blown, going, oh my God, we're finally going to have a movie where the audience knows who the killer is the entire time, and we're watching the rest of them play catch up. Okay, this is a different take. This is a different twist on it. Let's go. He's dead. We're left with non important characters as our murder victims. Ultimately, the movie falls flat because of that. I kind of enjoy the idea of it being a riff on Scream 2, but ultimately, I'd rather just rewatch Scream 2. I love Melissa Barrera. I like Jenna Ortega. I love the core four. And honestly, I would have liked another movie focused on them. They're really charismatic and I really enjoy them. So I'm along with them for the ride. So they announced the Scream TV series, and instantly I was not on board. Season 1 came out, and I heard decent things, but I wasn't rushing to see it. Then one day I saw that it was on Netflix. Season 2 was about to start, and I said, all right, fine. I'll watch the first episode. This is going to suck. And I got to the end of the first episode, and I went, where are you going with this? Let's see. Before I knew it, I was hooked on this series. And it's not just because, oh, it's Scream. There's a part of me that has a guilty pleasure for teen melodrama. This took expectations that I had and it played with them well. The bitchy mean girl that I could not wait to die ended up being my favorite character. It went from, I can't wait to see you get gutted, to, oh my God, you better not hurt a hair on my Brookie's head. I will boycott this station so fast. Season 1 delivered everything it needed to. It was a good mystery. It was violent. It had kills that I have no idea how they got away with on cable TV. But all in all, it worked for me, and it made me really excited to see where season 2 would go. Season 2 takes the characters from season 1 and pushes them further. You get to see them evolve even more. You get to see how much their relationships mean to each other. And you get some really cool kills, some wonderfully shot episodes. The episode Happy Birthday to Me is probably my favorite episode of the entire Scream series because of how it plays with aspect ratios and distortion and all these visual things that are so much fun to watch that you might not fully catch on your first episode, but you go back and you rewatch it and you find little things that just blow your mind that they did in a 40-minute episode. I really love it. My downside for it is that we never got a conclusion to this story. The rumors of what they wanted season 3 to be are really dumb, and it would have worked in a different show. But I really, really, really want a movie or something to wrap up the Lakewood story. You know, there comes a point in time in my rankings and rewatches that I ask myself, am I too hard on Scream 2? It's always ranked as a lower Scream for me. Now, please understand, I love this franchise. I like the movie. It's not that it's bad or that it's poorly shot or anything like that. It just, the first time I watched these movies, we had Scream 1 and 2 on VHS, and we had Scream 3 coming out in theaters. My first viewing, well, yeah, that's the worst movie. And it's always been like the worst of the Wes Craven trilogy to me. Scream 4 came out, and 2 and 4 would flip flop as to which is worse. Honestly, I like a lot of this movie, except it feels a little bit too long. I wish Mickey was in it more as Mickey. Other than that, I really like the movie, and it's a great flick. I just like other Scream properties better. With the passing of Wes Craven, Scream was dead. We had the TV series going, and that was great. Scream got to evolve and be something else. We didn't need Sidney Prescott anymore. We didn't need Gale Weathers. We didn't need Dewey Riley. Scream was allowed to evolve for a new audience. There's never going to be another Scream movie, and I'm fine with that. And I saw a movie called Ready or Not, and I really liked it. And then a couple years later, I see a news story. Scream 5 announced, and I went, oh no. From the directors of Ready or Not. Okay, alright, I'm on board with this, let's go. About 30 minutes in, I went, we haven't seen Sydney yet. I don't miss her. Huh. Oh my god, they're actually doing it. They actually passed the torch in a way that's working. See, one of my big problems with Scream 4 was it was built as we're passing the torch, but I didn't care about the new characters outside of Kirby. Here, we had new characters that I liked. I was on board with. Let's see where we go. I understand that people don't necessarily like this movie, and I understand why. However, for me, part of how I rank these is my entertainment value and how the movie makes me feel. My nostalgia does get baked into this. I have a fun time revisiting this. And unlike the previous movies on this list, this is one that I can just pull off the shelf and revisit by itself. The previous ones, I'm only rewatching if I'm watching all the Scream movies. For me, the top 2 Scream movies are like this. And depending on the day, they could be like this. They flip flop. They are so close. And I know most people rank this as the worst one, or they did. But for me, I absolutely love Scream 3. This is another one that had a very troubled production, and it was originally shot with 2 killers. We know Angelina Tyler was supposed to be the second Ghostface. Bob Weinstein, the one that's not in prison, said, hey, we want 1 killer. We want to do something different this time. Only 1 killer, after they had already started shooting. So there are sequences where there's clearly 2 people there in Ghostface costumes, but okay. However, headcanon that I have is Sydney's been shown as an unreliable narrator. We've seen that she is struggling with different visions, dreams, nightmares. She can imagine Ghostface being there when he's not. So, the sequence in the movie studio could very easily be another situation like that. That's how I work around this. I absolutely love this movie. It's commentary about Hollywood and predators in Hollywood. Funny enough that Harvey allowed a movie where there's a creepy producer who sexually abuses people. Can't imagine where I've heard that one before. I really love the balls on Wes Craven to be like, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me I can't do this. Tell me. Go ahead. Threaten my career. And for every one of you who argues that ghost voice that voice changer isn't realistic. They couldn't pull that off in 2000. In 1996, we didn't have voice changers that made you sound like Roger L. Jackson. This is my favorite movie of all time. I rewatch it, and every time I notice something new. The town of Woodsboro feels real. Something that I absolutely love about this movie that Wes also did with Nightmare on Elm Street is you get a feeling of there is history in this town. You're not dropped in and going, oh yeah, remember hearing that story about that urban legend that happened 50 years? No, this is recent. This is still in the public consciousness that Maureen Prescott was murdered a year ago. And you feel it. The characters are wonderful. Every one of them has a personality, so that way you know who they are and you feel it when they die. The newer movies tend to forget that with its characters. Honestly, this is pretty darn close to a perfect movie, and I absolutely adore it. There is no other choice but to make Scream the best in the franchise. So, how do you rank these movies? Sound off below. I know you disagree with me. And I know this asshat clown sure has to be joking. Or, the fuck is wrong with this idiot? I don't care. These are my rankings. This is what the Scream franchise means to me. And come hell or high water, when Scream 8 comes out, even though 7 sucks donkey dick, I will be there opening night. I will be there with bells on, with just happy that we're getting more Scream. Like, share, subscribe, hit the buttons down below to hit the buttons, and we'll see you next time.